So, um, welcome. And again, I appreciate everybody being here. And what we're going to be discussing um, today is, are you a chip guide detective? And it's the art of locating items on the chip guide. Um, so let's get started. And first of all, let's explain about poker chips. And this explanation is for the seasoned professionals, collectors on here, as well as newbies, and this is going to be posted on YouTube. So this will be some help for people who are just getting started in the hobby. Um, Poker chips are those round things that are used as money in casinos, and the chip guide is the authoritative resource for poker chips and other casino collectibles. Today, poker chips are issued by many sources. Originally used as money in games of chance, they are now also used for advertising, tourist trinkets. When you go to a tourist area, you'll find them on golf courses and the pro shops. They're used as golf markers, golf ball markers. They're used as promotional items in many, many places, and they are used um, uh, for many other things as well. So we put all those poker chips, regardless of where they're used, on the chip guide, and sometimes it's easy to find them and sometimes it may be difficult. This webinar will help you to figure out where your chips were used by using the research functions on the chip guide. And what is a chip guide? The chip guide is an online global catalog of poker chips and casino collectibles. The website is chipguide.themogh.org. That means ChipGuide, the Museum of Gaming History.org. It was established originally in 2005 by Hall of Fame club member Greg Susan, and today it has over 250,000, that's 1/4 million items, in over 22,250 different casinos and other places that issued chips. The Chip Guide is operated by the Museum of Gaming History, which is an educational project of the Casino Collectibles Association. So that's our background information. Now let's get into um, finding stuff on the Chip Guide. And I'm turning my video off because you don't need to look at me. I'd rather you look at the screen. So, why is it difficult to find some items on the chip guide? Well, first off, the location might be missing. If we look at the chip all the way on the left from the Flamingo Club, it's a beautiful chip, but it doesn't have the location on it. So that makes it difficult if the location is not listed on the chip. Sometimes the name on the chip might be different than the actual casino name. The next chip, the chip that says, the red chip that says CCC, um, that was actually issued by the Coin Castle Casino in Las Vegas. And there are chips that spell out the entire name, but for whatever reason, they issued this chip with just the initials. So if you're looking for CCC, you won't find it because the actual name of the casino is Coin Castle Casino. And we will figure out how to locate items when that occurs. Additionally, the casino name might actually not be a name. It could be a logo or a picture. And if we look at the orange chip, it's got a picture of a Bronco rider on it. Now, the chip guide has no say at all on what people put on the casino, on their chips. People do whatever they want. But it's our job to take whatever's ever on the chip and make it as easy as possible for collectors to find them on the chip guide. So we will as we get into our seminar, we will figure out how to locate this chip. And then finally, the casino name might be confusing. The last chip, the blue chip, we can see the letters C, S, and I, but we really have no idea what order they might be in or what these letters might stand for. It could be ICS because the I is the tallest, and C and the are smaller and smaller. It could be CSI or, any combination of those letters. So sometimes, even though they're identifying marks on the chip, it still doesn't make it easy to find them. So we will look at all these individual cases and figure out how we locate chips on the chip guide. So one thing that you should know about casino names on the chip guide is that the chip guide administrators are instructed to use the name that is on the chip as the casino name on the chip guide. That's to make it easier. But sometimes the name that's on the chip is different from the actual casino name. So we came up with a way to allow that to occur um, by creating aliases. An alias is a second name for a casino, and it typically has what's actually written on the chip rather than the actual casino name when they're different. So that allows you to search on either the actual casino name or the what's written on the chip in order to find something on the chip guide. So it gives you another way of locating it. It's a second name for a casino. Now sometimes, like that Bronco Rider chip, there are pictures on the chip, no words. When that's the case, we put the name of the picture, what it is, in parentheses. So if there was a picture of a boat on a chip, on the chip guide, it would appear as boat in parentheses. So that's helpful in finding items on the chip guide when there is no name, just some kind of picture or logo. And also, again, alias was not an original feature of the chip guide. It was something that we added later on. There were probably a lot of casinos that we had on the chip guide prior to alias being introduced. So if you find someplace where there's a missing alias, meaning that there's something on the chip that is different than the actual casino name, if there's a missing alias, let us know. Contact us and we will get that corrected as soon as possible. Okay, so let's put on our detective hats and locate some chips. Remember, if we're detectives, we're looking for clues and then using those clues to identify chips. So we're going to start off with not actually a chip that's hard to search, but a chip that's a good example for identifying clues. So here's a beautiful chip, $1 chip. The name of the casino is right on the chip. It's El Cortez Hotel. So if we look at the clues, one clue is the name, El Cortez Hotel. The location is also on the chip. It's from Las Vegas. The mold is also very, very helpful in locating chips. The mold in this case is what we call the rectangle mold. It's a series of rectangles in a circle around the chip. And if you're not familiar with all the different molds, we have a mold guide on the chip guide. So you could pull up that guide, uh, determine what your mold is if you're having problems finding a chip and you're not sure what the mold is. We also have the denomination on the chip, $1. That's helpful. There are inserts on the chip. In this case, it's called a half pie insert. That's when half of the chip is one color and the other half is a different color. So in this case, one half is a gold color and the other half is gray. And then finally, we have a logo. The logo is a conquistador. So that's all the information. So how would we find this chip on the chip guide? Well, this is going to be easy. We could use the map drill down method for that. And that means that I'm going to pull up the chip guide. I know it's from Las Vegas and Nevada, so I click on Nevada. I know the name is El Cortez, so I click on E to come down to the E section. And here's the El Cortez uh, Casino in Las Vegas. I click on that. I get a list of all the chips um, from that hotel. And here is that chip. So that was easy. That was to warm us up and get us started. So here's that chip, and here's the chip guide number and the catalog number. So um, that was our starter. So let's go back to our presentation, and let's now do an actual search. So here's another chip. This one says treasure chest on it. That's the name. The mold is diamond and squares. We look around the edge, we see a diamond and a square in a circle around the edge of the chip. The color is off-white and the denomination is 1. So how would we find this chip on the chip guide? Well, we first use the map drill down method. That's not going to work in this case because we don't know what state this is from. So in that case, we have a casino search function. And I'm going to pull up casino search. And if I enter treasure chest as the search fields, it is going to locate all of the casinos that have both treasure and chest in it, and we have 5 of them. Now remember that that chip had a diamond and square mold, which is called BIA-SQR. And if I look at the chip molds that were used in each of these treasure chest casinos, only one of them has diamond and squares. The one from the treasure chest casino in Nevada, in Carson City, Nevada. So I'm going to click on treasure chest there, and here is our chip. We've located it, and we can see all the information about this, the catalog number, and so forth. So we've identified our chip as being from Carson City, Nevada. That was an easy one. Let's go. Maybe we'll get a more difficult one next time. And here's something that happens to me. I don't know if it happens to you, but I put my chips in these 2.5 by 2.5 inch holders, and I write the chip guide number on the holder, and if it's from Nevada, I also write the catalog number on it. So I have this chip, but I forgot to indicate what casino it was used on because FAB doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know an FAB casino. So how can I use that information to find the chip on the chip guide? Well, besides casino search, and let's remember N9864, let's remember that. We'll go back to the chip guide. We have a chip search function, and I could either put in the chip guide number or the catalog number, and it will find the chip. So that was N9864. I click on show, and there it is. And it says this chip was used in Harold's Club. And now it occurs to me that FAB stands for Fred A. Beck, who probably leased a game in Harold's Club. So if we just have a chip guide number or a catalog number, we could search the chip guide and find that item as well. And that's using the chip search feature. Okay, another easy one.